Torah Sisters, it's Amy Gunther. Welcome back to the Torah Sisters podcast. In this episode, I'm again going to talk to those of you who are starting a business or you have a business and you're getting ready to launch a new product. I want to encourage you to get going, start selling it. Don't get stuck in the planning phase. But first of all, don't forget, this is June 2022 when I'm recording this, and I just relaunched the magazine, ladies. You can go and subscribe, TorahSisters.com, follow the links. You can get Torah Sisters magazine in print mailed to your house or as a PDF download if that's what you prefer. But it is back. It is beautiful, wonderful contributing authors from articles from several different ladies. It is the best thing I have ever made. Glory to the Father. He has brought the most amazing ladies into my life, and they say yes. I ask them to write articles, and they say yes, and you get to be blessed by them. So go to TorahSisters.com, subscribe to the magazine. It comes out every other month, delivered to your home if you want it. And then also for those of you who have businesses, don't forget, go to TorahSisters.com and there's a link at the top for business. I have a page of my website devoted to showing you my favorite stuff, the tools, the websites, the resources I use, I love. Go there, surf it if you want to know how does Amy get her work done, what does she use. That's all right there for you. So in this episode, I want to encourage you to start selling your thing. And the topic I'm talking about, I actually wrote it up as an article in the current issue of Torah Sisters magazine with a checklist. So you don't have to write notes. If you're a note taker, just go get yourself a copy of the magazine. You can print it. If you get the PDF, you can print these couple pages. You can print the checklist page for your household use, and you have it right there. But in a podcast, I can go into depths a little bit further with even more explanations. So every issue is going to have something for business, something for you ladies, because so many of us Hebrew women have a side hustle. A lot of us aren't. I am working, to pay the rent because I'm a single lady, but whether you're working like me to pay the rent, or you're an empty nester, so you work full time to help pay for your kids' college, or a lot of you are selling stuff on the side to help with grocery money and stuff like that. So, but a lot of us have this itch to sell stuff. So I am talking in this episode to those of you, especially if you're just starting off your business or you're thinking about getting it going, you've had the idea, you're ready to move forward. Or those of you who already have a business and you're thinking about launching another product or another product line or another service. So I have, over the years, helped many people with getting their business going. Mainly, they would hire me to design their website and maybe do some marketing for them or some SEO to get their business going. They were almost all brand new business owners. Or they were just starting a second business or something. All types of businesses. And over the years, I've been doing that, 15 years, I think. I have noticed a common thread in that most of them never actually hardly started selling it. It just kind of fizzled out. And it wasn't because of the website, because I would get that done. And I would say, here you go, and hand the keys back to them. And but they just never took off with it. And I think there's a lot of, every circumstance is unique. They're not all the same. I can't put them all into one bucket. There were probably a lot of even some mental and emotional barriers. And we can talk about barriers in business more. I know a lot about barriers because my head gets in my own way quite often. I look at some of the stuff I do now, the stuff that's working, the stuff that you ladies love, and I think, oh, I had that idea for like 5 years. Why didn't I start it? So I've learned some lessons from my own life too. But one thread I've noticed in my own self with not launching things and with all of those good people, sweet, nice, ambitious, hardworking people, but they never launched their little business, is that they were stuck planning. They wanted all of their ducks perfectly in a row before they like opened the doors for business. And I'm talking, not just selling products, but some of them, I don't know, maybe you're going to sell a service, like you're a house cleaner and you're going to start cleaning houses or businesses or something. So products or services, or even direct sales, like whatever it is. I've done this for so many people who just got stuck, paralyzed, in the planning, and they never stepped out of that stage to where they're making money. And I want to encourage you to get out of the planning phase into the making money phase as quickly as possible for a number of reasons. The most obvious reason is that probably the biggest reason you're going into business in the first place is to make money. So let's get you going at that. Let's help you reach that goal of bringing home some profit as soon as possible. Keep the main thing the main thing. Write it down, put it in a place where you will remember. You're not starting a business so that you have a nice website. You're starting a business so that you can bring home some turkey bacon, right? So let's get you making money. The goal of your business is not to have great SEO. The point of SEO or a website or all of it is to make money. But it's so easy with so many things available to us. See, nowadays, any amateur can do just about anything. Any amateur can publish a book. We can self-publish. We can make our own websites. We can do anything. You can do text marketing, email marketing. I make t-shirts that I don't even make in my house. Like you can do anything nowadays. The sky is the limit. But if you get sidetracked with all of these possibilities, which are endless, you can get stuck there and never move out to where you're launching your business. So, for example, the other problem with all these things that are like, I call them shiny objects that get you distracted, is that they cost money. So not only are you not making money by not selling your thing, by in the planning phase, you're probably paying fees to all these services and you're losing money. Now your business is in the hole more and more and more each month. So some ways, I want you first, if you're thinking about starting your business, now don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating cutting corners. I don't want you to cut corners. I don't think it's biblical. I think as Torah keepers, we ought to do our best to, if we're going to take someone's money for something, we ought to deliver something that is of the best excellence that we can make it. Now, your product or service is probably going to get better over time, but you shouldn't launch or start selling it until your product or your service is amazing. It has to be worth what you're asking people to give you. Now, let's say, for example, I don't know, let's say you're a proofreader, okay? You're a proofreader and you want to do proofreading as a service for money. When you're starting out, if you're, out of high school or something, you don't have a degree, you don't have much experience, you're an amateur, you're going to charge amateur prices. You should still be very, very good at that, obviously, or you probably won't even want to go into it. So you're going to be very, very good at the service that you're offering, and you're going to charge rates that are equal to your service. Throughout the years, as you get better, as you have more excellence at your work, your rates ought to go up, because now your service is more valuable. But when you're starting out, your service or your product should still be amazing, excellent, and worth every penny, if not more, of what you're asking people to pay you. So when I say get going, let's hurry up, get past the planning phase, I don't mean cut corners on your product or service. I'm assuming your product or service is already awesome and wonderful. If you, I don't know, you crochet blankets, I'm assuming your blankets are already lovely and worth every penny. I'm talking about the process now of getting to where you start selling them. That's where I want you to just go for it. So here's some examples that I've seen over the years. People want a website, right? So make a list of everything that you think you want to have done before you launch your business. And by launch your business, I mean Announce it to the world. However it is that you're going to announce it to the world, I have this business, come buy my stuff. Like this big announcement, you're open for business. Here you go. Make a list of everything that you want to have in place, all your ducks that you want in a row before you make that announcement. For a lot of people, it might be things like having a website. It might be having business cards, having a logo to put on those business cards and that website. You might feel like you need to have a cute tablecloth to take to market. If you go and sell your stuff on Sundays at a market, do you want a tablecloth with your logo? Do you want to have a way to take credit cards like with Square? You know, you can have the Square service or PayPal and all sorts of ways to take credit cards out and about. Do you want to have a business PayPal account? Do you want to have a sales tax license in your state? Do you want to have your business checking accounts and business credit cards set up? Maybe you want to have an e-commerce store on your website so people can buy directly on your website, like a shopping cart system. And then do you want to be able to ship? Do you want to be able to ship your product around the world on your website? And do you want your website to be beautiful? Do you want matching graphics on all your social media? Do you want a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a YouTube account? All the things with matching graphics and so on and so on. Whichever or all of these that you think you need to have in place, make a list. Pause this podcast, make a list of all the things that you think you need to have in place. Well, you can do it later because you know where I'm going with this, don't you? Make a list of all the things. And for some of you, there's things that I don't even, maybe you want a magnet, you know, like a marketing magnet for your car. Or you want, if you have a cleaning business, you want to buy all new cleaners or all natural organic cleaners or whatever it is. Make a list of all the things that you think you need to have in place before you launch your business. And a lot of it are going to revolve around marketing, probably. So once you have your list, I want you to listen to me closely. Do you really need everything on that list in order to launch? Because I'm here to tell you, the list of things that you want will never, ever stop growing. I have never met a business owner, myself included, who says, I'm done. My business looks and runs and has all the technology and bells and whistles that I want. I'm done. I can just sit back and keep on selling. It never happens. First of all, things change. All the bells and whistles and technology keep changing and changing and changing. You're never done. And, you know, sometimes as your business grows, you need more bells and whistles to manage things, which is a good problem, but you're just never done. As I'm sitting here recording this podcast, I look at my website and I'm like, oh, it just needs an entire redesign. Oh, well, I will get to it when I get to it. Now, my products, I think, are awesome, but all the things around them are not always where I want them to be. And you ladies who've been following Torah Sisters for a long time, you've seen me change and grow and figure things out. But you have to start. If I were to always wait and wait and wait until I had everything in place, I would never have started. And this is what I saw my friends doing over the years. I saw them waiting and waiting and waiting, and they spent a lot of money designing a logo, and then they didn't like the logo, so they revised it and over, or they want to figure out setting up e-commerce on a website is it can be a huge big deal. It's not an overnight process. Sometimes it is, but setting up shipping on a website can take a long time to figure out. I think you're all very capable of it, and we'll talk about that in another podcast, but all these things take a lot of time. If you also look at your list, write down price tags next to each item per month. A lot of those items cost money every single month. There are some ways to get a free website, but you know, what we'll talk about in another podcast is that a real website costs money. If you want your own website on your own domain, That's not free. You're going to have to pay somebody for that. All these things cost money, and a lot of them have a monthly fee, which, you'll get nickel and dimed to death. And if you're not already selling something, you're just chasing your tail, digging a hole that's deeper and deeper in the hole, in the red, not bringing home any profit at all. And what a shame, because you have this great product that people want to buy, and you're kind of telling them, oh, I'm not ready yet. I can't take a credit card on a website yet. Sorry, hold on. That's not the way to run your business. When someone's ready to buy something, you sell it to them as fast as you can before they change their mind or get distracted or forget to come back. It's nice to think that people will remember you and come back, but they won't. So listen to my first podcast about email marketing. And again, in that podcast about email marketing, if there's only one service for you to pay for and start your business, it's email marketing. I do believe in that. And go back and listen to that. That's more important than a website or anything. So look at your list and put $signs next to all of those things. Now, to encourage you to get past those things, because you're looking at those things and you're like, oh, but my business is going to look not professional and on. People are probably not going to buy your product because they think you're professional. People are going to buy stuff from you because they like you and they know you, or someone told them that you do good work. It's not always because you look and act and your logo looks like a big, huge professional company. That's not why people buy from small businesses. So don't worry about it too much, okay? You're probably a delightful person who does great work and sells great stuff. People will buy from you for that. So let's go through this checklist that's in the magazine and see if I can help you overcome some of those barriers. Now, here's a big one. The first one, it's going to be hard to believe, but you can sell things without a logo. People do it all the time. You don't have to have a logo for your business. In fact, when you start selling your stuff, your business does not even need to have a name. Anybody can go on. Have you ever sold on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace? We're going to talk more about that in a second. You're just selling stuff. People don't, in fact, on Marketplace, people don't like to buy from businesses. They just buy from people. There are ways to sell without having a business name. So if you're like, oh, I can't decide on a business name, I don't know, start selling your stuff and worry about the name later. Worry about the logo later. In fact, sometimes as you start selling your stuff, your focus becomes more clear. You start to get feedback from your customers that help you narrow down what your logo might look like, what your name should be, and so on. Here's an even bigger one. Are you ready for this one? Overcoming barriers. You can sell stuff without a website. And you can sell stuff without taking credit cards. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not lying to you. You can do it. And the beauty of not taking credit cards, so let's say you just take cash and check. You keep all the money. When people pay with a credit card or PayPal or the credit card company keep a good percentage of that money. That's how they make money. It's called transaction fees. Go look it up. It is not a small amount. It adds up very quickly. So when people offered me to pay by check, I'm like, yes and thank you, because I keep all of the money. I don't have to pay it to a credit card company. You can sell without a website. Be very creative, but it can be done. For example, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, classified ads, farmers markets, not on Sabbath, of course, but other days, kiosks. You can go to your local town stores and say, can I put a display of my stuff in your store? And you just work it out with them. Work out, how much they keep and how much they're going to pay you, and on and on and on. There's a lot of ways to sell stuff without a website. And this is how you get started. And now, are you going to sell more with a website? Maybe, probably. Are you going to sell it easier with a website and an e-commerce checkout store and credit cards? Yes, it'll be easier. But again, how long is it going to take and how much money is it going to cost you to get that all set up? In the meantime, I'm not telling you to give up on those things. Keep moving towards those things. Keep working on them. But in the meantime, immediately start selling anyway. Start your email list. So everywhere you go, we talked about this in the first one, you collect emails. Your email becomes your website. You send out an email. There's a couple local people who sell like farm fresh stuff. Yeah, I guess, but it's like they run their own market through email. They send out an email during the harvest season that says, okay, everybody come over on Thursday. Here's what we have. Reply to this email and tell me what you want. So their email, it says, cucumbers are $1 each and peppers 75 cents each or 3 for whatever. And she just lists out what she's going to have for sale. People reply with their order, and everybody just comes to her house and picks it up. That's how she runs, and she's doing a lot of business that way. And so everyone who finds out about her, she puts them on her email list. I do recommend you use Flowdesk for that. Again, that's on the first podcast. But you can do a ton of business. So let's say you're also selling on Facebook Marketplace. Every time you have a new customer, say, all right, can I add your email to my list so you know when I have something else? Or a new color or whatever it is. Or when I'm running a sale. Whatever. You can run quite a big business through email. And again, they just show up at your house, or you meet them somewhere, or they mail you a check and then you mail them the item. You can do a lot of business without a website and without a credit card. And you can do a lot with Venmo and PayPal too, even though they're not business accounts. So you can also just advertise your product or service on Facebook or your social media just to your family and friends, people you already know. They're the people most likely to buy. Even in the beginning, when you have a website, you know who the first customers are? Your family and friends. So you may as well start tapping into that source of income right now. Even with shipping, setting up a shipping on the website and stuff can be a real pain in the bottom. And it can really hold you back. Just do free shipping and work the cost into your product cost. If that's what it takes to, don't be unfair about it. Keep it fair. But setting up shipping on a website can be really hard. There was a time even on my website where I couldn't figure out shipping internationally. So I was like, all right, well, at least I can sell to customers here in the United States. I know for sure how much that costs. And I just did United States. Now, would it be better if I could sell internationally? And now I do sell internationally, but a few years ago I couldn't. Yes, that would have been better, but I at least started. I at least did something, and I don't regret it. If I'd have waited, I might have been waiting a long time because, you have to figure it out. Here's another one. You can sell things without a business card. That's probably on your list. I gotta have business cards. I have never had business cards for Torah Sisters, ever. I don't know, maybe someday I will. I just don't really, I use my email. I don't want you to take my business card. I want to have your email. That's how I do business. But I don't need them. Now, and again, about sales tax, here's something interesting. You might think, I have to be all set up with sales tax and bank accounts and stuff. You might not. Most states, like here in Michigan, I think you can sell up to $600 worth of goods, I think per year, before you have to claim that as a business and pay taxes on that and take sales tax, I think. Now, I am not an accountant or a tax attorney, so go do your own research. But you can sell a certain amount just, like cash. And that's enough, $600. For some of you, that's a lot to get going. And while you're in the process, those early days or weeks of selling that $600, you're getting a business checking account. You're applying for your sales tax and your EIN number and those sorts of things. You're getting those balls rolling. But things cost money. And wouldn't it be nice if you already had money from selling your stuff on Facebook or whatever while you get those things going? They do not have to be done first. You have to be careful with your money, of course, but they don't have to be done first. So these are lessons I've learned, lessons I've seen other people, traps I've seen them get stuck in. Just go for it, ladies. I cannot tell you enough. Don't doubt yourself. And And again, some of the I do think is mental. Like we're afraid of failing, and so we invent barriers. Oh, well, I guess I can't start because I don't have my logo done. That's we kind of self-impose these barriers, and I know I've been there because it's a scary thing putting yourself out there and selling something. What if people don't like it? What if they don't buy it? What if they think you're dumb? What if? And so in a great sense, we sort of put up barriers. I guarantee you it will get better. And maybe a lot of people don't buy it at the beginning. It's because it's the beginning. Of course, a lot of people won't buy it right away. It takes time, but you will look back a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and you will be so glad that you started. So please, please, please don't get in the trap of needing all the bells and whistles. They never end. They never end. I have a huge list of things that I want to implement on Torah Sisters. And if once in a while I knock one off and then I add three more, it never ends. So if you think you're going to wait until your bells and whistles are all done and checked off before you start, you'll never start. And maybe that's what you want. Maybe you just don't want to start. And maybe you just need to have that honest discussion with yourself before you go and start paying hosting fees and all these other money that you're going to put into bells and whistles. They're not free. Very few bells and whistles are free these days, and you get what you pay for. Just start doing it very organically, very naturally. Friends and family, garage sales, a Sunday flea market. Very, very easy. These things are easy too, and it gets your feet wet. It gets you feedback. It helps you focus more, and it gets you excited. When you're starting a business or you're launching a new product, it's so exciting when people buy it and they love it. It will just tickle your heart. And I want you to feel that and experience it. That's God's blessing to you. He gave you skills. He gave you talent so that you can work with your hands and do these things, create these things, or do this service. And when you bless someone else with that and you give them a fair price according to Torah, and they like it. It is so, I just can't explain. It's such a nice, fuzzy feeling, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it encourages you. So when you have those like warm fuzzies of, oh my goodness, they bought it and they liked it, and they're going to buy another one someday, that encourages your heart more than anything I could ever say here on a podcast. And that spurs you on to keep going, to do it again the next week, to put another ad on Facebook Marketplace or whatever it is. But when you're just stuck planning and you never have a sale, it's really easy to get discouraged and to quit and to give up. And everything just sits collecting dust, or worse yet, it's collecting dust and costing you a few bucks every month. But when you get a sale here or there, I can't tell you, you just have to do it. You just have to get some sales and experience that excitement and tingling for yourself. So that's all I have. I hope it blesses you, sisters. Leave some comments and tell us your stories about how you got going. That's it. Bye now.